Welcome back to Let's Play Train Simulator. Today's adventure includes, once again, exploring the awesome world of PZB signaling in German routes. So we're going to be dabbling in the Mannheim to Karlsruhe scenario pack, which is brand new. And part of the Epic Journeys release for Train Simulator. It's been out for about a month now, so it's not really brand new. The scenario that we're going to be attempting here is the Mannheim bound scenario in the DB BR425. And it is a winter route during the day. And this is a almost blind. I tried this scenario already, and for some reason it told me I skipped a stop, and I'm going to see if that's the case this time too, or if there's a glitch or some kind of an error in the scenario. So we'll see. I'm going to use route guidance a little bit more diligently to see if there's a bigger issue here. This is a bigger route pack, and it is a little bit taxing on my computer. I don't have the up-to-snuff, super awesome state-of-the-art package here. It's a little bit limited. Does take a little while to load as well. I think it is just about done now. There we go. Check it out. Okay. So we're here in the station at Mannheim, getting ready to disembark. Actually, no, we're not at Mannheim. We're at Karlsruhe now, and I am using track IR, if not already obvious. We need to let the passengers in here, and the next stop is Karlsruhe, Hagsfield, Bahnsteig 2, and I don't know how to pronounce German words worth a crap, so feel free to make fun of my pronunciation as much as you'd like. I don't think I really need lights inside, but while we load the passengers, the first thing we're going to do is we set full reverser forward, and then we're going to activate the CFA system by pressing Shift Enter, and we're going to activate the signaling PZB system by pressing Control Enter. And those systems are not activated. I'll explain those in a little bit. Now let's disembark here. We can go ahead and apply mostly full power here. And as we depart the station, we'll need to maintain 60 or less kilometers per hour. Is that as our speed limit? We're coming up to some interesting speed limits here, so I'm going to be a little bit more diligent. One thing right off the bat is when you start off in PZB, you're in restricted monitoring mode to make sure that you're aware that you're driving the train, of course. And this signal shows that there's a speed limit of 40 right off the bat, so there we go. We are now in a speed limit of 40. One thing you need to do is once you see a green signal after you disembark under PZB, you need to release. There's 3 keywords that I'm going to be using with regards to the PZB system. That's those 3 are acknowledge, which is the page down button, and then there's release, which is the end key. I may call that free because the German term for it is free, F-R-E-I. It frees you from the condition you're in based on your knowledge that it's okay to proceed. And then there's the rarely used override, which is the delete key, and I don't think I'll have to use that, so ignore that one. Focus on acknowledge and free or release. Acknowledge and release. I'll try to say release. Okay, so we're clear up to 60 now. Something interesting with the BR425 is that I'm not 100% sure of this fact, but I'm going to say it. The BR425 does not have AFB system. Something else that just happened here, we've just entered LZB signaling. Now, okay, this is Karlsruhe, Hagsfield, bound stick 2. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. I just switched over to LZB. I know a lot of stuff's happening here at once, but LZB is when the system on the train is telling you what speed to go and how far it is to the next speed change. When you don't have AFB on your train, you have to manually adhere by these rules. Just because the train has LZB doesn't mean it's going to automatically adjust the speed for you. If it doesn't have AFB, you still have to manually do it. And sorry for the lag. So right now the LZB max speed is 140 kilometers an hour, and that is indicated by this little bug here, and that bug will move depending on what the current speed limit is. It's just a more visually informative way than just relying on the signage outside the train. This train, I don't think can even get up to 140. The max speed on it is like 130, 135 on a downhill, and it won't even make it there. So that's something to keep in mind on this route. You gotta not have to worry about that too much. The other system I mentioned before is CIFA, and CIFA is separate from signaling. CIFA is just a reminder device that you have to keep hitting enter on the numeric keypad to tell the train that you're still in control of it. You haven't fallen asleep. It's like a dead man switch. It'll prompt you to press it every 30 to 40 seconds. It randomly selects the amount of time between each, but as long as you press it at your own interval, you can wait like 15 seconds or whatever. Just press enter every like 20 seconds and you won't see the CIFA light. So what happens is if you don't notice the CIFA light up, which is like right here on the pad, if you don't notice it light up, it'll say CIFA like twice, and if it says CIFA like a third time and you don't press the button in time, emergency brakes will come on. If you do acknowledge it while the emergency brakes are on, you can get the train back in control. So I'm going to start slowing down for this station here because we're in pretty close. I might have come in a little bit fast here. We'll see what happens. I think I am going to come in pretty fast here. So now we're in a 200 zone, but we don't really have to worry about a 200 zone because we'll never get there. Yeah, I'm coming in really fast. I should have come in at like 40 kilometers an hour here. I may miss the station here. Okay, I think I'm okay. The ass end is going to be on the platform still. So I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. Again, we're in a snowy environment, so tends to be a little bit faster. Slow down below 28% brakes or so, and that'll come into a nice easy stop. So we got the ass end of the train here on the platform. That's fine. Go ahead and let our passengers on. And then we have this next stop here, which is, yeah, that's up ahead, 4.65 kilometers away. Very good. Okay, good to go. See if I put full power if it ends up like wheel slipping. Another thing that happens is when you're in LZB, you have to manually bring the train to a stop at stations, but you don't have to worry about restricted monitoring anymore, because LZB is it's more in control of the train than PZB is. So it's a more high-tech system, so you don't have to really keep tell the train that you're in control of it. It's kind of a redundancy you don't have to worry about. So our next stop is in 4.5 kilometers here, and I'll be more diligent about my speed here. Again, this is a blind playthrough. Now, the last time I did this, it told me I missed a stop, and I don't know what the deal with that is. So that's why I say it's blind, but it's not really blind, because it told me that I missed a stop. Like right in like 10 seconds here, it's going to tell me like I missed a stop, and I'm going to be really mad if it does it, because that means there's an error with the scenario, because I didn't miss that stop. I left the passengers on, and it's giving me a check mark. It's giving me a check mark, and this stops in 3 kilometers. So this should be good to go. Unless for some reason like you have to like change the thing, but no, see, it shows the track is on the stop, so it should be good. Again, sorry for the lag. So I'm running a little bit behind here. Actually, I'm running a little bit ahead, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and then neutralize power here. So when I get within like 1.3, I'm going to start braking a little bit more. Go to like 60% brake at about 1.3. Target to enter the station about 50 kilometers an hour. These shorter stations that take up most of the train, you got to kind of be ready to slow down as soon as you enter them. Okay, so we're at 1.4. I might wait until like 1.25. Here we go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, apply to 60% or so. Perfect. Okay, now this is going to be too much. Alright, so we'll go like right here. It's kind of a juggling act. You kind of just gotta work your way around it. We're way ahead of schedule right now, so it's not a big deal. There's the H sign right there, but I want to make sure that the train is basically all the way on. I'm going to stop like here up this number 1. It's a good place to kind of come to a stop. This would be pretty good. And then we get below like 30%. There you go. That's a stop. That's how you come to a stop at the platform. So you got that much space, and you got that much space. That's pretty much spot on. Is that an H up there too? That's probably the one I should have stopped at. Not that big of a deal. As you see, you got that much space from there to there, and then you got that much space. I don't know, that'd be pretty close. I'd have to look at that on the next one. Because it's kind of like, well, okay, you have a 4-train system. Is that really the right place to stop? I would say stop a little bit ahead of it. That H on the side of the track is like where you're supposed to stop. But I don't know about that. Alright, here we go. So we kind of just wait till doors are shut, and you're going to go with like 80%. We're like pretty good on schedule lately, so I'm not going to try to push. This train has really good acceleration. A lot of these German smaller passenger trains where it's like the entire coach is the train, they've always been known for having ridiculously good acceleration. That's kind of like German rail power. Now I'm going to go ahead and floor it all the way because we are running a little bit behind on time there. Get that SIFA. I used to hate the SIFA. I was like, I don't want to use SIFA, it's stupid, but it's like, you have to. It's part of the German rules of driving a train. So again, we're still in like, you go up to 200. So it's like, you don't even have to worry about breaking speed limits, you just floor it because train will never reach 200. So we'll see how long that lasts. It may get more complicated as we get closer to Mannheim. Again, this time I'll just redline it until we get to like 1.5, and then I'll idle at 1.5, and then I'll go 60% brake at about 1.2. We'll see what that does. Everything's green on the signal so far, so it's like even, you know, LZB should manage that. You don't have to worry about it, but I've run into a couple situations where if you see a signal that isn't showing clear, you need to be ready to acknowledge it just in case LZB decides to end without warning you. It's supposed to tell you that it's going to end with this yellow light right here, but on sometimes, I guess the way the track is set up, it actually won't tell you that it's ending, which is kind of like, well, what the heck, how are you supposed to know that? Okay, here we go. So we're at 1.2, we're going to go down to about 60% braking right now. Let's see what this gets us. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. I'm going to go down to about 70 and then go down to about 30% brake here. Yeah. So that's still a little bit too much braking. I can adjust for that. Again, with the lag, this time the time is kind of counting up a little bit. Okay, this one I need to slow down really quickly for, because the platform is very short, so I'm just going to bring this one right up to the end of the platform here. That should be good. That's how it's done right there. Look at that. I didn't get the end of it in, but it's not even long enough. But that's it right there. Looks like most of this route's going to end up being LZB, so we don't have to worry too much about the craziness that PZB is. LZB is a lot simpler. You just kind of drive the train and not worry too much about what's happening. Just wait for that, and then we'll go ahead and floor it. Right now it's saying we're a whole minute behind. About 20 seconds now where we're speeding up. Next station's about 7 kilometers away. Raben Neudorf. Comes A station. Looks like we're going to be right around on time for this one. That'll be good. Okay, we did just get a alert, and that alert is like the, hey, what, something's up. And what's happening here is I'm getting an alert that says in 9,500 meters, there's going to be a speed change down to 80. So I'll have to manually do that speed change. And basically this train slows down really, really quickly, but it's still good that once you see this like distance until the 80 like start to go down, it's a good idea to neutralize. And then wait until you're prompted by this G down here, and that G is basically your it's your cue to start applying the brakes. So it's like, even though all the signals are still clear and they're going to be clear for a while, this is something that's like the train is telling you that it's coming up way ahead of time. And so it's good to just have the knowledge that, okay, I'll have to be ready to do something about the speed and be aware of it. So again, we're going to be stopping at this station before this speed change, so we don't really have to worry too much about it. Graven-Neudorf station. Again, all signals are clear right now, all green. Again, for review, the signal at the top there, wow, this is really laggy, is like the signal at this post, and then the two diagonal greens below that are like what the next signal is going to be. It's like your preemptive notice, and the two green diagonals means it's going to be green, so don't have to worry about anything else. Okay, there's 1.4. I'm going to try it at exactly a mile this time, about 60%. Alright, right till the lag clears. Alright, here we go. Perfect. Yeah, it still seems like it's braking quite a bit. Alright, so we'll go like right here. There we go. Now we're talking. And for this one, I'm going to kind of just look out for the H. I don't see it yet, so I'm just going to kind of just let it coast to a stop here. Actually, no. I need to get. Shoot! I need to get the. I need to get the train on the track at least. Okay, there we go. Was all over the controls there. Okay. That's pretty good. I didn't see an H, so just use my discretion there. So we're exactly 4 kilometers away. It's like this number will display how far you are in meters, and once you're below 4, it won't show numbers. It'll just like count down this like bar thing here, and you'll see that happening now. So we're going to accelerate all the way up, and I'm going to kind of react to the system here, and we'll see what happens. So here we go. We're going to go all the way up full forward. Okay, so now it's starting to count down. We may give them signalage that actually tells us this, so I'm going to be ready to acknowledge these, just in case it decides to pull the plug on LZB on me, which happens. I'll play a scenario where that happens, so it's like obvious when it does. I've been trying to record that one for a while, but I wanted to do something at daytime because that's a nice scenario and it's hard to see. I think if we zoom in here, we'll see that, okay, that one's still showing green, but the next one might show a flashing green light. I'll show that. Okay, so there's the speed we'll need to be at. So that one's clear, but then there's one immediately afterwards here. That's for approach signal. And the approach signal is showing clear. So I don't know what this signal right here is for, but so we're getting a clear. It may not be for a couple yet because we're still like 2.5 kilometers away. So it might be this one that just popped up. I can't tell. Can't tell right now. Okay, so the 80 is actually showing up on here, which is kind of cool. That one flashing? No, that one's not flashing. So it's probably the next one that's going to be flashing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of, I'm going to hold steady here, because this train slows down really quick, so I don't really have to worry about it. I wonder if it'll adjust the time the G lights up based on its own knowledge of the performance of the train, but I'm not sure about that. See? Okay, so there we have the G, so now we can start slowing down. I'm going to go like 50% just to be safe here. 40% should be good. Okay, so yeah, we slowed down way ahead of schedule here. So basically, as soon as you hit 80, the G will go away, telling you you're in compliance. So the LZB just disabled, so we acknowledge that. Now LZB is disabled. See, that came out of nowhere. It didn't even warn you. So you got to be ready for that. As soon as LZB kicks off, you got to be ready for that. You got to acknowledge it. So right there, it happened. There was no warning that you were going to be let off of LZB. So I'm going a little bit slow here. I'm a little bit paranoid about my speed. Not a big deal. Okay, so now we're permitted up to 160 again because we switched the tracks. But again, you just kind of need to know that. You need to be ready for it. You need to know it. So the next station is Y Central Bahnsteig. Okay, lag. Again, the speed is 160. We'll never get there, so no worries. Yeah, we're coming up here. We're doing decent on time, a little bit behind. Let's go ahead and neutralize. And we'll apply about 55% brakes at a mile. There we go. Again, sorry about the lag. New scenarios are killing it. A little bit of a downhill here. So there's a 60 showing up on the speed down below. Alright, I'm gonna let this coast in here. This should be good, about 40% here. Alright, not too fast. Alright, sustaining. We were a tad bit late that time, but that's not a big deal. So we're getting a yellow signal up here that's saying, or we're getting a yellow number. Not a yellow signal, a yellow number, and that yellow number is indicating 80. So that means that the next signal we get to is going to be commanding 80. So when we pass over this signal, we might get a PZB notification telling us we need to acknowledge it. So again, acknowledge is page down. And you always want to acknowledge immediately. In fact, you should be acknowledging before you hit the signal. Hold down the button as you pass over a signal indicating anything other than clear, and you won't get the emergency brake shot on you. So we'll do that as we pass this one, because I'm pretty sure it's going to yell at us. So we come holding page down now, and letting up. I don't think that one gave us a warning, but it probably didn't because we're already below 80. So we just have to know that we can only go up to 80 as we come to this signal. If we go above 80, it might imply emergency brakes. So we'll go ahead and level out right at 80. That shouldn't hurt us too much from a time perspective. So there's 80. Go ahead and keep a little bit of power in so that we can sustain our speed a little bit there. So this signal is commanding 80. But see what's ahead here. It looks like there's a 60. So what we'll need to do is be ready for that. And I think how we're going to know that that's happening is this approach signal here. See, look up at the approach signal, you see a 6. So we're going to hold page down now, and we're going to start applying the brakes now. So there we go. So we got a 100 hertz signal, and we need to start slowing down immediately. Okay, so there's 60. That is probably because the track is going to shift over here. Yes. So this is a stop. This is a station requiring a stop, so let's go ahead and get ready to stop here. This is a longer platform, so I'm just going to kind of central the train below the little roof section here on the left. Go up to 60% here, slow down the rest of the way. So we were a little bit late there. Let's go ahead full out here. And we're still in a speed limit of 60, so we'll have to abide by that. We go ahead and release PZB and acknowledge this signal. Perfect. Here comes 60. And now that we are fully engaged onto this track, we can accelerate up to 120. Now 120 you got to be kind of careful of because it could hit it. So just be aware. The next track is Nullesheim-Bahnsteig. Bahnsteig. I know that B is actually a sound. So it's Nullesheim-Bahnsteig. I don't know. I'm just thinking that might be what it is. $15, $16, $17, $18, $19. So we're right at the speed limit here. Probably because of this turn. That's my guess. We're pulling a yellow on the comfort index. So there's a 16 board, so the speed limit's going out to 160. We go ahead and full up now. See, it'll get 121. It'll make it. This one we're gonna have to be a little bit more ready for because we're kind of on a downhill. I'm going to neutralize now. Alright, 60%. A little quick on the brakes that time. There's an H, but I think that H is a little bit too close. We'll go about right here. Maybe this time it should have stopped at the H just because, yeah, this is where the passengers come down from, so they don't have to walk as far. So, that's one consideration to make. Alright, let's go here. We are losing points on these stops where I'm a little bit late, so... Here's Hockenheim. Quick little hop. Looks like we're doing pretty good on time here. I'll let this one get right down to 1 mile before I apply the brakes. We'll go to about 60%. CNH. That signal up there with the white dot on it just means that the next signal is going to be sooner. It's the signal is closer than normal. So it's like positioning is different. So it's just extra indication of something to watch out for. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive on the braking here to see if I can get more points. Next station's in about 6 kilometers. This one's actually telling me turn track IR off for a minute, and I'm going to be way ahead of schedule, so we'll see how that goes. Looks to be a short platform, so we'll be going all the way to the end. See how we have a crossing up ahead, so I'm going to sound the horn. That is what that was. See if there's going to be a warning about a speed restriction coming up here. Yes, there is. 120, so let's go ahead and abide by that reduction. That is not a speed, that's not a signal controlled reduction, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so here comes 1 mile. Go ahead and go down to about 80. And we'll go about 70% braking. Perfect. There's the 120 speed limit. Yeah, front door didn't open even though the door is safely over the platform. But there's a system in Train Simulator where the door will only open if the front of the train is behind the last edge of the platform based on this map. So not a perfect stop, but it would have been fine in real life. Door would have opened. Got a little bit of time to kill here. I don't know why this one gave me a lot more time to get to. The other one seemed really tight. This one was much more realistic. We got 4 more stops. They look to be relatively close together. Scenario ending at 10:24 at Mannheim. Almost time to go here. There we go. So it looks like 77 points is the maximum score you can get. The next station here is freaking huge. So we'll watch out for that H. Stop at the H if we see it. Oops. Wrong button. We'll get a little judicious here. We'll go ahead and neutralize right now. And I go about 30, 40, 40% here. And with the size of this platform, I'm not really going to care too much about getting too slow here. See if I can see that H. I might just try to take up most of this roofed area here. Might be the best way to do it. Don't see an H. Do the roof here. It's the end of the platform anyway, so that works. Yep, I'm happy with that. Here we go. This one's a little tight on the schedule. We'll see how it goes. I've seen the lag has been less severe the last couple times, so that's good. Noticing that crossing alert sound is a lot more mellow in this scenario pack. There's a couple scenario packs out there where that alert beep is just blaringly loud, and it's like it wouldn't be that loud. That sounds a lot more real. Like it's you know, muffled because it's coming through the train. It's gotta be loud enough for cars to hear it, though. Yeah, more lag. Reset my, there we go. Much better. Here comes the platform. I'm actually gonna go based on the, distance to the platform shown down here. For my braking timing, we'll see how that goes. Aim for about a mile. There's some more lag. meters right now. Bikes over there, a lot of bikes for it being winter. Okay, here we go. Buildings look like photoreal. So that's kind of cool. You got one set of tracks on this side and another set of tracks on that side. Road. Looks like we're coming up to some factory districts here. It's a pretty nice looking area right here. Kind of a cool design that they've put together. Now that's a good braking job right there. That's about what it should be. Picture perfect right there. One more stop. Well ahead of time on this one too. Excellent. So this route's definitely not very taxing on knowing PZB and how to react to it. It's just good to have the system enabled. It's for general awareness. Last few stops haven't even really given me a an indication to go into restrictive monitoring either. It's kind of strange. Usually come to a complete stop, it'll kick over to restrictive monitoring, but it hasn't been doing that. So don't really have to worry about that. Might be one of those one-time things. You know, if the PZB system knows that you're on a frequent stopping, you know, passenger pickup frequently, then it'll not activate every time. So that's kind of a smart way to do it. Kind of crossing up ahead here, sound the horn. We have a speed limit of 80 coming up. Let's see if we can see that in the signal system here. I don't see anything yet. Well, I better be careful here. I'm going to go ahead and apply the brakes now for this signal, because that's not going to be enough warning to do it. So there's one small in the scenario right there. I had no way of knowing that this signal would be and then I'm going to continue to slow down to 50 here. Because there was a sign on that signal that said there was a speed limit of 50 coming up. I may have missed a warning signal for 80. If anyone can confirm that I missed a warning signal for 80, let me know in the comments. That'd be fine. There was definitely not a PZB alert for that 80, but there may have been a yellow sign that I just didn't see. So we're down to 50, well ahead here. He obeyed the signal warning that it was going to reduce to 50, which is fine. Now when you see that, it's like green over yellow, like what you see here, means that there's a speed reduction. That's literally what that means. So in this case, it's a speed reduction to 50. Because there's a 5 above the signal, and the 5 means 50, but multiplied by 10. That's the way all the speed indications go. If there isn't a number and it's green over yellow, it's 40. So remember that, because there'll be a quiz later. It's like how speed limits in the US are like 55 miles an hour if there's no sign. It's just like that. It's like if you don't see a sign, then it's 40. We're going to do some track hopping around here as we pull into this very large, very complex network of stations up here. Pulled into track 10 at Mannheim. Here comes. And go ahead and let up on the brake a little bit here. Looks like the best thing to do is kind of target the roof here. You turn the CFA system off. I didn't stop right before this signal here, so we don't have to acknowledge. And there it is. PZB system disabled, reverse or neutral, headlights off. And that's a wrap. Great run. Gold star. Can't complain about that. That's the way it works. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. I expect to record a couple more German routes like this one. Maybe some with a little bit more challenge to them. Throw some curveballs at you. Be ready to know how to use PZB better. Alright, catch you guys later.